What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Onney, the CEO, and I am back to bring you another uncensored conversations with a queen. And tonight's segment is all about escaping the abusive cycle. So if you've been in that cycle, or you seem to keep attracting the same person in different body bags, this is the episode that you need to be tuned in and tapped into. So I need you guys to buckle up your seatbelts, because you're now plugged in, tuned in, tapped in to Outside the Box. Now, the new trending topic that we're seeing everywhere on every platform is narcissist this, narcissist that, narcissist this, narcissist that. But it's real. It's in our communities, and no one's really getting under the grit of it. It's handed down trauma. It's a lot of unhealed wounds. So I have none other than Miss Shannon Savoy. Y'all give it up, of Narc Free Living.
Hey.
And I am a subscriber.
Yes, likewise.
Yes. And so this has been a journey for me of recovering from narcissistic abuse myself.
Yeah.
And so I literally found you on social media, YouTube, came across it was in my algorithm, and I subscribed, and it was so something how I met you again, and I was like, I know you.
Right.
And then I only discovered, like, I remember I just listened to your video today.
Isn't that crazy?
So I've had you on Outside the Box before to talk about your career and all the amazing things that you have going. So if you guys didn't see, y'all go back and look for Shannon Savoy on Outside the Box. But today's show is uncensored. And we didn't have enough time to peel back layers in our last episode. Yeah. But this time, we're going to peel back some layers. We're going to have some good conversations. And you have some amazing feedback that has really helped me navigate my journey in healing and self-love and recognizing those red flags that, we've been kind of trained to ignore or accept. Yeah. So before I put the wagon before the horse, for our listeners and our watchers, I want you to tell them who you are, and what you do, and the names of your platforms.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me here, first of all. So my name is Shannon Savoy. I'm the CEO of Narc Free Living, LLC, where I discuss narcissist abuse from a psychological and a biblical perspective. So narcissist abuse affects so many people, and after I went through it myself, I wanted to, create outlets and become a voice for those who hadn't yet found their voice. So that's really what my platform is. And I'm on Narc Free Living on YouTube, on TikTok, on IG, and my website is www.narcfreeliving.com. But it's really to create a voice and a platform for those who are in shame and in silence, like I was. So that's what it's really all about.
I just want to say thank you, because I have literally been in that position where I've been in shame and in silence, and I felt like I didn't have nobody to go to. So just seeing a woman like yourself, educated, successful, and knowing that it's not just me. Yes. It's like it's a lot of successful women suffering in silence because of shame. Yes. But you had not just the audacity, but the courage to step out and allow yourself to be used as a vessel to deliver a message to so many other women like myself that had suffered in silence. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So when you decided to start Narc Free Living, what inspired you to use your platform for that particular subject? Because, you know, narcissists, before it was even like clickbait, you was already on it and educating people about the topic. So it wasn't like a trendy thing when you started. Now it's a trend. You see it everywhere, especially if once you put in your algorithm.
That's all you see.
Can't run from it. So what encouraged you to start that process?
Well, when I went through it, it was so shameful. So I went through domestic violence. I was married to a sociopath. I was a military officer. All the things that people say that can't, I'm a strong black woman. All the things that people think that can't, you know, won't, you know, take you into abuse. And I went into all those things. So I was a military officer, active duty at the time for like 20 something years. And then I'm a black woman, strong in the church, all these things. And I found myself in that. And so when I got out of it, I was like, well, if I can go through this, what are other people who don't have the resources to leave going through? What are those people who just can't, you know, get up and leave? What are they going through? And so I really wanted to speak to those type people, and I wanted to speak to men and women who are going through this. So that's really how it was founded. So I wanted to get beyond the shame, beyond the embarrassment, and say, hey, if I'm going through this, then somebody else is going through this, and I want somebody else to learn from my mistakes.
Now, you being a woman of God, you know, I'm sure it came with its own share of judgment. Because, you know, when you're a woman of God, you have a certain level of discernment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we can want things to work so badly that we kind of like pull away from ourselves, you know, and then the body keeps the score.
Right, come on.
So even though we're trying to go along to get along, our body is going through other things. We don't even look the same.
No. If you go back and look at those, have you seen your pictures?
Yes.
Don't you look totally different?
Different.
Yes.
Your light is different. You have like an ashy look to your face. You might start having alopecia, your hair falling out, irregular cycles, hormonal imbalances.
Look, your pH balance.
pH balance, well, that's not just
That's
stress. That's because
come on,
he dipping and sticking and black gaslighting you into believing that it's you. No, I know me, and this don't smell like me. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's what we need to write that one down for another.
But you know, the narcissistic individual, because a lot of people think, oh, narcissists, they just attribute it to men. But they are female narcissists as well. And a lot of these female narcissists are mothers.
Yes.
And they create these little demons, you know what I'm saying? Because those traits are passed down. So the narcissistic demon is one thing I want to talk. They come and they go after the best of the best.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you think, oh, well, you too pretty, you too smart, you got so much going for you, you're educated, you got these companies, you got all these followers, and yet you find yourself in this type of situation.
Right.
And it causes that shame.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the narcissist comes to steal, kill, and destroy by any means, and distract.
Absolutely. And
more so distract. And the distraction is what leads to the detriment.
Else. Right. Yeah. And it's bewitchment, and it is spiritual. It's spiritual that affects your psychological and your emotions and mental. And people think it's just a psychological disorder, but it's spiritual first. Every life is spiritual. And then it affects your mental and your physical and your emotion. It affects you in every which way. And then to hit on what you just said, a lot of people think, and I don't know about you, but I thought, well, how could I be in this? I thought I should know better. I thought I should, I have all these things going for me. How can I find myself in that? And that's what gets people. So what did you think about that?
We're going to transition to the Hall of Mirrors. That's how.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People that are going after you. See, the narcissist does this thing called mirroring.
Absolutely.
Right? And in the love bombing phase, and love bombing don't just go to relationships or romantic relationships. People could love bomb you in business affairs. They could love bomb you by promise you opportunities if you just buy into whatever they're selling. So people will love bomb you, and when they're in the love bombing phase, they mirror you.
Right.
They mirror your interests. They pretend to support your goals. And then sometimes, you know, they'll manipulate you through acts of kindness.
Absolutely.
So if you're someone who's been starved of genuine, unconditional love, and you meet someone and you're the center of their world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just do everything without asking. They're your biggest cheerleader, your biggest support system. And then some type of enmeshment occurs where you feel like, I need them. I actually love having them around. And so when that particular person inflicts trauma on you, you develop a trauma bond because cognitive dissonance set in.
Yes.
You know it don't feel right. You know it's not right. But it's not always all bad.
It's the duality. I mean, you said it. It's splitting. So they mirror you, and that's what people will be like. Well, why didn't you just leave? They don't all start out bad,
no.
and that's the hard part.
And they can pretend for
a
year,
long time,
2 years,
a long time,
they
and they will,
and they will
until that mask slip. And then in public, the public usually loves
the communal narcissists.
Yes,
they
love
go
them.
out the way. They're the ones that you go out to eat with all your friends, and they'll pick
pay.
up the tab.
They'll pay for all your friends.
For you and all your friends.
So when you get ready to leave, your friends are like, wait a minute.
How you gonna leave that good man, girl? He take care of you, girl. He take you on trips, girl. He get your hair done, your nails done. He pay your bills. Why are you leaving him? And then that's, you know, it's kind of like, are you gonna?
With you.
Are you a gold digger at this point because you know you're not happy, but you didn't convince yourself that you need this person around,
because now you done bought into the lie.
You bought into the lie.
Yeah, and you got to keep into it.
Essentially, when that happens and the mask slip and you realize that the person that you thought you loved is not actually who they are, that's when you realize the person that you actually fell in love with was yourself.
Isn't that crazy? And it kind of it's so twisted, right? We're not going there, but narcissists and the empathic person or the empathetic person actually, when their empathetic person is unhealed, they actually have a lot of similarities.
Yes.
It's just they're done for very different reasons. The empathetic or the empathetic person does it to get love. The narcissist really
does it to get control.
Exactly.
And codependency.
Exactly.
You know, and that's something that I had to learn because when I started learning about narcissism, I actually questioned, like, am I
you the narcissist, right?
You know what I'm saying? Because I was the overgiver, the oversharer, I was a chick that if you was a Build-A-Bear,
you was it.
I had my tool belt on. Listen, I was going to give you the encouragement. I was going to put you on game. I was going to give you opportunities to make money. I was that girl. Like, okay, let me find you. Let me dust you off for a little bit. Wardrobe change.
Because that's in our heart. It is in our heart to be that way.
And then they get to where they think they're going and the mask slip.
Right. Oh, and then it's all bets are off then.
Oh, man. Now you're competition.
Yes.
You went from the best team player to a competitive. What is the deal with the competition and narcissism? Like, how does it go from you being my biggest cheerleader to now we competing against each other?
Because they never were your biggest cheerleader. They all along were your biggest competition, like you just said.
And they mirror you. They start becoming the same the things you're doing.
Your
if you're
ideas,
a podcaster, now they want to do a podcast.
Absolutely.
If you're an author, all of a sudden they're writing a book.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they're chameleons.
They have no self-identity.
Absolutely.
So they literally mimic whoever is in the room that they're trying to impress or manipulate. That's who they mirror.
That's right.
And it's really sad because you'll see them, and it could be a person that don't drink or smoke. But if the person that they're trying to impress is in a setting where they're drinking and smoking, they'll drink and smoke just to feel like they can fit in with the person that they're trying to impress when they're not even being their authentic self. They're mirroring someone else.
Right.
So you're like, wait a minute, so when you start smoking?
Right. And that's how you know a lot of times when they're doing different stuff, when who they're hanging around, because they'll start doing things, all along they're doing things that are in agreement with you, your personality. And then they get around these other sets of people and they start doing, and they're going to bring it home. You're going to be like, wait a minute.
I ain't used to that.
I'm not vegan. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. And not only that, sometimes you'll notice that they only will bring you to certain settings where you can see them in this particular light. But when you invite them outside of that comfort zone, that box that they have you in, you'll be like, I don't even know who this.
Right.
Since when?
Right.
Since when you start doing that? That's not even how you talk at home.
Right.
Like, why are you? Who's here?
Right. They took on a whole different persona. It's like shape-shifting.
Yes.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
So another thing I want to talk about, the monitoring spirit of it all. In the love bombing phase, they want to know everything about you.
Yeah.
What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your hopes? You know, what are your traumas? What was your past relationships like?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And here you are thinking you all healed and whole.
Everything, aren't we? We telling, just giving them the
playbook of how to play us.
There
you
you
know
go.
what I'm saying? Because that's really what we're doing. Essentially, if I sit here and I tell you, okay, well, my first husband, he beat on me. And the second one, well, he cheated on me, and then I got into another relationship, and he had a baby on me.
Yes.
You know, then now you know these traumas. You know what my weaknesses are.
Right.
And so the first time I try to address something that you're doing out of line, the first thing you want to say, well, we know you traumatized. We know how your exes did you.
Right. Throw everything that you told them in your face, and that hits you even harder because now you're like, oh, my goodness, I shared this with you so that you wouldn't, and they're going to do all that and more.
Yes.
That's the crazy part.
And that's the sad part. You could tell them, okay, I was traumatized because I've never been with a person that haven't cheated on me. They will go above and beyond
to make sure
they cheat on you.
Yes.
What is that about?
And they're going to do it even harder. It's going to be 10 times what you...
It's going to be so sadistic.
Right.
That you won't even know.
No.
And that's another thing, the double lives of a narcissist. They can live two completely lives. Well,
it's like 9 lives.
Yes, literally, depending on the environment that they're in.
Yes, absolutely.
And depending on how many sources of supply they have. Because the supply might not just be sexual or relationship.
Right, because a narcissist is only as faithful as their options.
Say that again.
A narcissist is only as faithful as their options.
Tell me a little bit about that, because that was deep. Like, because that's true. Because if that person cuts them off, then of course you have them all to yourself. But as long as that outside source is supporting or
feeding them.
And see, a narcissist have a way to triangulate you with people that they're
absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be a romantic person. They'll do it with their mother, their children. They'll do it with anybody.
Yeah. And so let me just say this. I said this before on a previous show. There is no man walking this earth that can triangulate me against another woman.
Come on.
And if you've been a woman, if you ever called me woman to woman and told me anything about anybody I've been messing with, I love you, girl.
Right. See, that's why we listen.
I love you, girl.
That's why we there, because I'm the same way. And I've been in those situations.
I will be your friend to the end.
Yes.
And can't no man tell me nothing about you. Now, he can get in your ear
but he ain't getting
and make you think I don't like you.
That's right.
But I'm telling you right now today in front of the world, baby, I love you forever.
Right. And I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
I've become friends with people that you were trying to triangulate. That's one thing. Listen, the way I'm built, I'm too secure to go at it with another woman. I'm just not built that way.
No, because one thing about it is it's not about who's the better pig. I'm not comparing myself to you because narcissists have no choice of, they don't care about that.
And you'll think that.
They don't care about how you look.
No.
They don't even care about your sexuality. And that's another thing, because sometimes they'll try to coerce you into different sexual acts. And that's something that I've noticed, you know, and like the threesomes, you know, they want you to, they want to almost give you like this permission statement to do this. But you know, the minute you fall into that trap, you can no longer hold them accountable for anything that they do. Right,
because a narcissist always wants to get you to compromise.
Yes.
And so if you look at the world, right, anytime you see somebody who does dirt, they thrive off of getting dirt on other people. That's how they maintain their network.
I've literally had someone tell me, I was looking for something for you to do wrong.
Yes.
So that I could feel better.
And that lets you know so much about that person.
To hear that, because here I am, loyal, faithful, kind, patient, true. And while I'm loving you, you're sitting back, waiting on me, looking for me to be more like you.
Right. And that goes back to that monitoring spirits. I went through that same thing. He was like, you know, because it's almost like you too good to be true.
Right.
I was faithful, all these things. He was looking for dirt on me. He would go through my phone. He would, you know, go through my computer. And I'm like, listen, you have the passwords. But he was looking for some evidence and he went way back in my emails even before him.
Do you know narcissists will try to hold you accountable for something that happened before the relationship?
Yes.
I'm talking like 5, 10, 15 years before you even met them, and try to hold you accountable to that when they playing in your face right now today.
In real time.
So you want to you're really trying to take the attention off of what you're doing in real time and go back in my past.
Right. That's how you know whatever they're accusing you of is projection. Whatever they're accusing you of, they need to find something on you. So those monitoring spirits, those familiar spirits are trying to, you know, stack up the deck against you. And then if you don't know any better, if you were like me back then, I didn't know any better. I was defending myself against my past.
It's draining as hell.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to argue about something that happened before you.
Right.
I'm not going to argue about something I did when I was 25 and I'm 45. I'm not doing it.
Yes.
Find you somebody else to play with.
Now, listen, if you say the sky is green, all right.
All right, baby.
Right.
It's green. is it emerald green? Or?
Because it's not worth it.
It's not. You can have that argument. You can win that race, you know, and I've gotten really good with, you know, because narcissists exist in friendships.
Oh, absolutely.
You have some people that attach to you because of your greatness.
Yes.
Or because they might even see a light in you that you don't quite yet see, but they know that if they attach to you while you're in the trenches, that they feel like there's going to be a return on that investment.
Absolutely.
And so a certain entitlement comes with that. And I noticed that in the girlfriend relationships, when a jealousy ensues because you're spending time with other female friends. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is like a monitoring spirit. Like you feel like you have to be a part of everything I do.
Right.
Or be around everybody I'm around, or have the connections I have, or, you know, whatever
That's
it is.
control. That's another and it's very subtle. I've experienced that too. And when I went back and looked at some of my friendships, I was like, oh my goodness, I've already dealt with this even in friendships. It was control, because I'm easygoing.
Yeah.
You know, when you easygoing, you will attract, you know.
And then I went through the people pleasing phase, the want to be likable, but that was because I had not healed from childhood traumas. So I never got the acceptance I wanted as a child. So that carried over into my adult relationships.
Yeah.
So then when I ventured off into adult activities, it was almost like, as long as he paid the bills, as long as he come home.
Ooh.
But then it got to the point where I was traumatized. I didn't want to be a gold digger.
Right.
So I ended up dealing with broke men.
So then you
I
ended
didn't
up
want to
settling.
Settling
Right.
for somebody that couldn't get me nowhere, take me nowhere, and that needed me. But I needed to feel needed.
Right.
So in the process of me needing to feel needed, I took on that role of being the fixer.
Right, and that's a whole other conversation I don't think a lot of single women will have, because you hear all the talk on the podcast and the different shows, and they're saying, well, if you're this type of woman and you don't date a man that makes less than you, then you're this. But if that's your standard, if you can meet your requirements, if that's your standard, I mean, go with what your standard is. Of course, you know, you're not a gold digger. You already know that about yourself, you know, but there are a lot of women that will settle in different areas.
Oh, I've settled
Yeah.
a few times. You know what I'm saying? Because I've listened to the projected impositions that was placed upon me, and I turned those projections into my belief systems.
Right.
So when you do that and you co-sign for what other people are projecting on you, and you don't know yourself, and you don't love yourself, and you don't have healthy boundaries, you'll find yourself in toxic friendships, in toxic relationships, in toxic work environments. You'll find yourself cohesively in these business contracts that are not beneficial to you.
Right.
All of those things will come into play.
Right, because how you are in your personal life is going to show up in how you do business. It's going to show up, because a lot of people say, well, it seems like I'm keep attracting narcissists. And I always say, when you are the person that you are, when you have that light, it's like you know, outside on your porch. Like good things and bad things are going to be attracted to you, but it's just when you heal, you're able to see those things being attracted to you, and you're able to deal with them a lot, you know, a lot better. You won't let them just come at you like that. So it's not that they'll still be attracted to you. You'll still find them in the workplace, but once you set those boundaries.
But that's what I tell people. When you have a light about yourself, you're going to attract both good and bad.
Absolutely.
But based on where you are in your healing journey is going to determine what you entertain.
That's it. Because people, don't you hear people say that, oh, I keep attracted. Why do it seem like
that was me?
Right.
Like I kept getting the same guy.
But that's giving your power away.
But the thing about it was, my exes, because I'm like a serial monogamous. You know, I get in one relationship and I stay in that relationship till I can't no more. Till he just really tear his draws with me. So I want to go back into like the codependency sector, because a lot of successful, independent women, they start off, hey, I'm doing good solo, I'm doing my thing, and then they meet Mr. Fix-It.
Right.
And he comes in. I see some of the guys, you know, I call it, they bait to the single women. Like, oh, you need a man that's going to run your bath water and rub your feet and have your dinner waiting for you, and, you know, and just send you money randomly to get your nails and your feet done and da-da-da-da. And so you meet someone that does check all those boxes. You be like, man, I like it over here. And the more you realize that you like it, you've never had that soft life.
Right.
You get addicted to it.
Yes.
And now you start feeling like, oh man, you know, when the mask starts slipping, you kind of have an addiction to who they were.
Right.
But they're not that anymore.
They're not that. And so when people show you who they
are.
They
never were that.
They never were.
Yeah.
And when people show you who they are, believe them. Listen, I'm at the point.
Because they will punish you.
They will.
They will get you used to an allowance.
Come on.
They will get you used to taking care of everything. And when you do something that they don't want you to do,
you'll see it.
They'll stop.
Right. And that's why you got to deal with that codependency.
Yeah.
And so that's what I had to deal with. I had to deal with the inner me, the codependent me that would allow, because I was like, well, how did I allow this? And so now I love me so much. If you show me some signs, listen, you got probably about 2 good times, and we talk about that. But after that, I love me so much where I'm willing to lose anybody for me. So if you come against my inner child, like I'm so protective of her, because I abandoned her to be codependent with somebody else. So I lost my identity. I never knew who I was. But now that I know who I am, baby, I'm willing to walk away from anybody. If you're not in alignment with God, you're not in alignment with the healed version of me, you have to go. It's just
and
that simple.
I always tell people that. I tell it to my friends, my girlfriends, they'll tell you, relationships, period. I love my peace.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I will share my peace with you. But I will not let you disrupt it.
Come on.
I will politely
invite
you to exit stage right, stage left, invite you to the door, or put my little old church finger up. You know what? It's been nice to see you, but I think it's my time to go.
Right.
You know, because I have had to. What happens with narcissists, they have a real big issue with dysregulation.
Yes, absolutely.
They don't know how to regulate their own emotions, so they regulate themselves off of the supply that they get from other people.
Right.
And they need constant adulation.
That's so tiring.
Constant affirmations, constant temperature checks.
And we give that to them. We give good love.
Oh, good love.
We give good love. We really do, because that's the love that we always wanted. So we know how to give it. And so they love it. It's parasitic. Yeah. So they're like a parasite, and we're the host. And you know what I mean? And they will feed on you. Absolutely.
You'll be, oh my God. And the minute that they wear you down and get you sick and tired,
they're gone.
They're gone, but they're gonna make you feel bad.
Oh yes.
For the reaction to their abuse.
Right.
For the side effects for their abuse. You know, oh, you didn't let yourself go. You didn't gain weight. Well, your cortisol level's so high, your hormones is not regulated. You can't keep your hair up because it's falling out because he just stressed you out. You know, your pH balance don't never stay on balance. He probably done gave you an STD that you ain't told nobody about. You know what I'm saying? All in the face of saving face. But what price are you willing to pay to save face?
And they will let you do, and they do litmus tests. They see how much you can take, and I realized my pain tolerance was so high. Did you realize your pain tolerance was high?
Yes, but my pain tolerance have been high from a child.
Absolutely.
And it came from the invalidation of my own pain. And a lot of men deal with this, you know, because boys, it's real prominent in boys. The reason why I say that is because when a little boy will fall and hurt himself.
What do we say?
The first thing is say, boy, you not hurt, get up. It don't hurt. That's the first time of invalidating his pain. Now, he could very well be hurt. But you're telling him he's not hurt. So in his mind, he's trying to equate, okay, I know my body is feeling this way, but the people that's supposed to love me, protect me, and care for me is telling me that I'm not hurt. They're telling me that I need to stop crying. So I'm confused in the beginning. So because I was always invalidated, my pain was never acknowledged, my voice was never heard, and I was never really truly seen. Even my grandmother called me eggshell because I was so sensitive. So I was never really seen. That, like, again, that carried over into my relationships. You know what I'm saying? So my validation came from the validation that they gave me. And when you're dealing with a narcissistic type of person, they build you up so high so that when they do pull that pedestal from under you, that fall, you're going to feel it. You're going to be impacted. You're going to be traumatized by it. And the sad thing about it is the men that tried to fix me were the same men that traumatized me.
And that can never work. The same people that broke you can never be the same.
And the villain,
Absolutely.
Pick a side. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do. That's the thing. And then speaking of that, the hero and the villain.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Oscar award-winning actors that they are. How when they finally get caught, because you know, with a narcissist, you have to have irrefutable proof. Okay? You could literally have details, everything. But if you don't have those receipts, they gonna deny, deflect, blame you for blame you for even being aware that they doing something that ain't right. They gonna try to bring up old stuff from your past. Nothing that has to do with the moment.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, but once you catch them, once you have those receipts, here come them alligator tears, baby. They crying on cue, honey. They are, I'm going to kill myself.
Come on.
I just want to take a long ride off a cliff.
And they don't plan to do any of that.
No, absolutely not. Because guess what? They got somebody else on speed dial. That's going to acquiesce to that bullshit.
It is.
And we're not doing that over here.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm only having this passionate conversation because I've literally been through it.
Yes, we both
I've been in a relationship where.
So let's take it there. Somebody how did it go?
Girl, which time?
Listen, okay, whatever time that comes to mind, that time right there. Listen, whatever time, what happened? And I'm gonna tell you what happened with mine.
Okay, well, my first time, I was young. So I didn't know anything. I was a mother before I was a woman. And I just thought that, you're supposed to have kids, get married, the thing. And he was a military husband. So we moved. I lived far away from family. I didn't have the support of family and friends. So, and everybody else on the outside, even though I was young with 2 kids, I was 19 with 2 kids. I still was a military wife.
So you look like the perfect image.
We had the white picket fence and everything, but he was whooping my ass. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't leave because I didn't know where to go. Where I was going to go with 2 kids. And he had drilled that in me so much. Ain't nobody going to want you with 2 kids. Ain't nobody going to want you. That I believed it. And it really wasn't until he had jumped on me one night and I tried to make it to the phone to call the police, and we were staying off of we were staying in the military housing off the 805 and Murray Ridge Road in San Diego, California. And I got to the phone and I called 911, and we only had one phone jack in the whole house. He snatched the phone so hard out the jack that the whole cord came out the phone. So I couldn't even plug the phone back in if I wanted to. So we had like an ordeal where he had hit me. And I was so tired of him whooping me that he was sitting real arrogantly on the bed. And I took everything I could, all the strength I could, and I pulled my arm all the way back. And I hit him in the nose. Bam! In the nose. And when I took out running, he was like, bitch, I'm going to kill you.
Wow.
And I run into the front door. Mind you, my kid's in the other room, but he ain't, he wasn't going to harm them. He was for me.
Yeah.
So I run into the front door. When I opened the front door, the police was already standing there.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I had not seen my face yet. I didn't know what I looked like at the time. So they came in on him mid-sentence saying that he was going to kill me.
Oh my goodness.
In the middle of a rage fit.
Right.
And so they took pictures of me, and the Polaroid pictures came out. And I saw my face, and I looked like Martin.
Right. You
know
look with them
lumps. Like all of that. Didn't know myself. I
Mm-hmm.
had, like, some of my braids was pulled out from the root. And one of the officers said in front of me and him that if they were called out to that home again, that CPS was going to get involved. And that was the worst thing that could have happened, was for them to say that in front of him, because they took him to jail, but because he was high yellow, the next day he had like 2 black eyes. So in the state of California, you actually supposed to go to jail even if you defend yourself. So they should have took both of us to jail.
Yeah, some states are like
but
that.
because military is like they own private.
It is.
They will intervene and get in the middle and handle it in their own little
Yeah, that's
sector.
what happened to me too. We were both military.
So they really didn't, the San Diego police didn't do anything because the military police stepped in.
And that's hard sometimes.
Yes. Because then after they stepped in and realized that this was an ongoing thing, because the neighbors would call on him all the time, that it stopped him from getting promoted. And so every time he went up for promotion and didn't get it, he was whooping on me.
Wow.
So when it got to the point where they told me that if it happened again, that they would take my kids, that's what made me leave.
Right.
It wasn't even the love I had for myself. It was the love I had for my children.
Same for me. Same with me.
Yeah, it was love I had for my children. And then my last marriage, I knew this guy for 30 years.
Wow.
I felt like
familiarity.
I felt like I was an exception to the rule. So he, even though it was a familiar spirit, and I knew that he had now looking back, he had a whole Jezebel spirit. He had all these different baby mamas, kids all over the world. That should have been a red flag, but because I knew him from childhood and he was my friend, I just thought that I would be different.
You think you're going to be different? You think you're going to be special?
I thought I was going to be special because I was his friend.
Right.
Until I started getting the anonymous emails with pictures attached and the anonymous phone calls and people telling me I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. And at the time, I thank God that he was calling himself slick enough to cheat out of town, because he worked away from home. So he would go out of town and live these double lives. So I didn't have to deal with the shame from people that I actually had to deal with on an everyday basis. But I still was ashamed if anybody would have knew.
Right. Did he deny it once you, did either of, did
he denied it and tried to minimize it, but he dealing with a receipt queen. She sent me 8 hours of recorded conversations.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I dated a guy who love bombed me, and he stayed in character for a whole year, and she sent me 60 screenshots.
Well, I'm glad you got it some kind of way.
Yeah.
And so that goes, like you said, they would deny it. And the same thing happened with me. And I'm sorry that happened, because that should have never happened to either one of us, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing happened. So I found out he was cheating. And it's weird how it was a triangulation. Like, we were just laying in bed, and he pulled up, it was on his Facebook, and he said something about this girl. I didn't think anything about this woman. He said something about, oh yeah, she following me, she's stalking me. And something told me when we got up and we went to PT. Something said, go to his computer and look up that girl's name. I am not a snooper. It has to fall in my lap how I am. That thing fell in my lap. I put her name in that search bar. A whole bunch of messages came down. when you come over, when you do this, this is what happened last night, and I was irrefutable proof. So I called her because the number was there. I called her. We talked about it. At first she lied and denied. I said I ain't gonna say her name, and I said, listen, I'm gonna say her name was Keisha. I said, Keisha, I see right here, the times he came over. I see what y'all did, with how y'all talked about. See where he was doing stuff for your kids and you were doing stuff. It's right here. And then that's what she said. We did. We had an affair or whatever. And so I was like, I'm not blaming you. I'm not married to you. I'm married to him, or I was married to him. And so by that time he came in. He came in the garage and was like, he started calling her all kind of B's. You lying, you
Listen,
lying.
they be so mad at the girl that tell on them.
They
be
do.
down there ready to do a death threat
Right,
on her. Girl.
they do. Lying.
And get mad because I'll take up for her.
Right.
Oh, you taking her side?
Right.
I am.
Actually, I am.
Since we sharing the community pin,
Right.
why not? I'm on her side anyway.
Right.
Whether I want to
So,
be or not. We both in the same. We both getting played.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And whether we being gold diggers or gold diggers, either we getting paid or played. But either way, he playing in both our faces.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that is another thing now. Victim blaming. That's something I wanted to touch upon because people have a tendency to be like, oh, well, you chose him. Why did you stay so long? And they don't really understand the dynamics of what all we go through and how long the enmeshment takes. And sometimes the healing process takes just as long or longer than the actual relationship, the existence of the relationship. Because when I broke up with my ex-husband, I stayed single for 4 years before I even dated. Single and celibate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Now, when I did start, trying some, you know what I'm saying? I'm a woman, I got needs, but I wasn't out here passing out by both pants legs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not promoting fornication by any means.
Right.
I'm just being transparent with you guys. But still, like once I crossed that barrier, that sexual barrier with someone, we in a relationship.
Right.
I don't know what y'all think is going on. But we in a whole, you belong to me now.
So we got that soul tie, that's it.
So, but that's dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
Because very often we get high off the vibe and we orientate sexually. Now we enmesh. Now we've taken on their demons and whatever else they battling and wondering why we got all this bad luck going on around us. Man, look who you laid up with. With the Leviathan and
all of it.
You know what I'm saying? Spirit and you got all the Jezebel spirits going on. Like,
you don't even notice it when you're in it. You don't notice it's trial after trial, situation after situation, and then you become acclimated. It's like that frog and that boiling pot. The frog doesn't know. It goes back to what you just said. The frog doesn't know if you just put a frog in a pot. It doesn't know that the temperatures turn up hotter if you just do it slowly at a time. And that's what happens. And that's why we end up staying, because you don't realize that water, that temperature in that house is getting turned up until it explodes. And by then you're already trauma bonded and everything.
Right. And that's the thing, you be like so deep in. And a lot of these women that are in business, they open businesses with these men.
Oh, that's a whole other.
That's worse than, and even if you're dating, that's worse than a divorce sometimes.
It is.
Because now you feel like you can't even go forward with your dreams, your visions, your goals because you've enmeshed this person into your goals and dreams.
Right.
And that's another thing with the enmeshment. When they come in, they love bomb and they be your biggest supporter and they want your biggest cheerleader. They want to be a part of everything you do. When you start to develop your own autonomy again, now they want to make you feel bad for not including them.
Right.
When they really shouldn't have been included from the beginning.
Because it was all your ideas anyway.
Right. But in some kind of way, they feel rejection.
Right.
As a part of you having your own autonomy. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and a lot of times it's guilt. Like, we have to deal with that guilt because you're gonna feel guilty about the reactive abuse, guilty about getting your own identity and autonomy because you're so enmeshed. And enmeshment is really the only way you know how to do relationships until you're unhealed. Like you just spoke about that. It's really enmeshment and codependency. So until you learn to heal, you don't know any other way of being in a relationship. You don't know the healthy boundaries. And you don't have the self-love yet, so we really shouldn't even be dating until we heal, like you said.
But a lot of people don't even know what that look like.
No.
I heard someone asked a question on Facebook, like, it was a guy, he made a post, he was like, women, If you ever had a good man and messed it up, comment below and tell us about it. And then he put, I bet these comments will stay blank, because a lot of times women don't have accountability.
Right.
And I was like, well, yeah, I've been that person. I've actually had a really, really good person.
Absolutely.
But I messed it up by just telling him I didn't really want to be in a relationship with him. Why?
Yeah.
Because he was showing me healthy love and I didn't even recognize it.
Come on, and that's another conversation.
I was bored with that healthy love because I was
Right.
addicted to the chaos and the confusion. And the thing about it is, when you become familiar with chaos and confusion, you become comfortable
Right.
with chaos and confusion. So anything that doesn't reflect that chaos and confusion,
don't want it.
you don't want it because it doesn't reflect to you what your version of love
Right.
is.
That's why so many women want bad boys.
Man, I don't want no bad
Right,
boy.
no, absolutely
Listen,
not.
I ain't trying to
That's
no
why you
time
love
for
it.
you. Listen, stay your bad
Right.
ass over there.
Right, but that's all you knew at that time.
Yeah,
See,
and
now
I've been
you know
with the bad
peace.
boy.
Right,
Listen,
and I've been the bad girl and had the bad boy.
I was in a relationship by myself with a guy that was in prison, right?
Ooh.
So I really thought
Prison
we was
babe.
Yeah, I thought we was in a relationship. Girl, why he get out and marry somebody else?
Oh my goodness.
After I was
You was holding him
faithful to
down,
him,
huh?
holding him down, writing them letters, sending them pictures, putting them in the commissary. Oh, he was all the talks, all the feels.
Oh my goodness.
And got out and married somebody else.
And that's, I mean, just think of what that does to you, you know.
I was a tool.
Yeah.
I was a resource.
And that's another conversation. Like, you feel played. I don't know, when I got out, I was like, I got played. You know what I mean? It hits you. It hits rejection. It's like I don't know. It's like shots fired. Like all the shots are coming to your inner child, to your grown self. Like I'm such a good person, because at your core you are a good person. But then this person comes in and plays with you. It does something.
You
to
actually
you.
question your word. Like, am I enough? Was I not
Right.
enough? That you felt the need, that you had to go
Yes.
and find somebody to subsidize on the
Right.
side.
Right.
You know, because thing about it is, with everyone that has ever played in my face, I'm very open. I'm like an open book. So I would have rather you just tell me what you
Right.
had going on. I'd have still been your friend. You know what I'm
You
saying?
would
You
have.
probably wouldn't have had the same access to me. You know what I'm saying? But I would have kept you in that compartment. I would not have crossed the line with you
Right.
in that element. Because I have some homeboys that I love to death.
You just know who they are.
I know who they are. And do trust that if I decided to let my guard down and say, okay,
Absolutely.
I'm going to give you the time of day,
Right.
they would be with
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely. 10 toes down.
In a heartbeat.
Girl, I will marry you tomorrow. Say the word. But since I can't marry you
Right.
tomorrow, if you ever need me, I'm
Right.
here. Yes, I do. You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know I know I'm valuable. It's a waiting list.
Right.
So if you have an opportunity to play in my face and you take the opportunity to play in my face, shame on the devil.
Right.
I have learned to love being by myself
Absolutely.
and with myself. So because I've gotten to that point, I'm not afraid to lose people. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a lover of people.
Right.
So I don't want nobody trying to manipulate me, control
Yes.
me, coerce me into anything that I don't want to do. Because if you want to play in my face, shame on you.
Come on. Absolutely.
Now, another thing that I want to talk about, because you are a woman of God, you are a woman in ministry. Everything that you do is not just about the narcissist.
Right.
You actually deliver a message. But one thing I noticed in the church house, that's something that's slipped under the rug. Traditionally has been, you know, where, you know, you go to the pastor for counseling, and God forbid the pastor is a narcissist too.
Right.
Because he's going to co-sign on the bad
Absolutely.
behavior and also co-sign on you being quiet, you know what I'm saying, about what's going on and not speaking out. So a lot of churches or a lot of spiritual practices, as far as religion is concerned, will tell you, you know, divorce is not of God, and, you know, it's a sin to divorce and you need to work it out and stuff like that. But not all things were brought together by God.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? And so just because y'all married don't mean God brought you together.
Right. It says what God put together, let no man put it
Yeah, but
asunder.
when you start forcing stuff and this man that showed you red flags, he cheat on you, he beat on you, you got women sending you DMs, text messages, calling you, hey Shirley, this is Barbara. You done got all kind of red flags, and then you go marry this man, and then when he do you bad, the first thing you want to say is, God, why you let this happen to me? No, he ain't let nothing happen to you.
Right. Oh, you telling my story. That was me. Because that's exactly what I did.
He gave you the option of choice.
He did. And that's what God told me.
You chose to play that script, and so you got what you got.
And that's exactly what he said. He said, because I was like, God, you hate divorce. And, he was like, well, who told you that? Like, who put this together? I didn't put this together. You put this together. And that hit me like, I was like, wait a minute. I put this together. It was like, I was just like in a daze. Like, it made me question everything. And shortly after that, that's when he made a way of escape for me to leave. Once I start asking the right questions and really seeking him, he told me God and abuse do not go together.
No.
Sometimes we get it wrong, unfortunately, because we're unhealed. We get it wrong. So you have adults and children in adult bodies marrying wrong.
And abuse is not just physical.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's mental too.
Absolutely.
The gaslighting and stuff like that.
Psychological abuse.
Psychological. And so what I do is I journal.
Mm-hmm.
I keep meticulous notes.
Right.
If you tell me you don't like me, if you start pointing out certain things, if you use my traumas against me, if anything that you do that makes me feel a type of way inside, I'm journaling about it.
I do the same thing. Like when it's highlighted in the spirit, I just write it down because you learn
then I
to
notice
do that.
it's a pattern.
You do exactly because we're looking for the patterns. It's not because one-offs. We don't. That's not how we work.
Right.
We're very tolerant and patient with people, sometimes to our detriment. But when you start to see that pattern, because the gaslighting can be so detrimental that you want to make sure that you are solid.
It's almost like somebody could tell you something, right? And they say it to hurt you.
Yes.
But then when you turn around and you regurgitate what they said to you to explain to them how what they said hurt you, they'll turn around and say, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. The gaslighting.
I didn't mean it that way. Now, if it's text message or something like that, they go like, well, you read it wrong. I didn't mean it that way, and I should have said it differently. No, you said it how you meant it.
I got it right here on this date at this is what you said. Right. And instead of saying, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you know what? Accountability. But accountability and narcissism don't go together.
No. Because even if they do take accountability, it's not real.
No.
Because there's no change behavior.
There you go. It's just modifying their behavior for a certain amount of time. And then once
it's
you
a
get past
pacifier
that,
for you. Because sometimes as women, all we want to hear is, I'm sorry, and I won't do it again.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when they do it again, it's worse.
Oh, it's going to be worse.
Or if they get caught. They just get slicker at doing it.
Yeah, because now you've shown them that they've given you a litmus test that I can cheat, that I can do all these things. So all it does is just advance the line just a little bit more. So I know I can do a little bit more.
So for the women that's out there, you're dealing with, man, and he may or may not be narcissist, but he could have narcissistic traits. Because I believe that everybody has narcissistic traits. To a certain degree.
Right.
I mean, almost every successful person does. However, it's a different line on the spectrum.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So a lot of times when you're dealing with someone that is very highly narcissistic, and it takes them a while to come to grips with who they're dealing with, what they're dealing with, their mad slip.
Right.
But they decide to stay.
Buckle up, buttercup. Because like you said, there's the traits that are on the spectrum, and then you have narcissistic personality disorder. So spiritually, that person has taken on the mindset of Satan. That person has that's their mindset. It's going to infect their thought patterns, their beliefs. It's who they are at their core. A personality disorder is not shifting. All you can do is modify that. Even therapy and the Bible both agree on that, that you can't, there's no cure for that. That person has been given over to a reprobate spirit. So unless, so you just have to know that with a personality disorder, that's not changing. It's going to change you.
Right. And that's when you get up and you look in the mirror and you don't recognize who you are anymore. And that's what essentially happened to me in those relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
Once I see that I'm going through the dark night of the soul in this relationship, like, I'm broken in some type of way, and I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
And I start have to really evaluate, do some retrospection. And what I came up with was, in all of my unhealthy relationships, I was the common denominator.
Isn't that something when you find out that you are part of the problem?
I am part of the problem because these men don't know each other.
Right.
So how could it possibly be that even though they were completely different in their lifestyles, from education to their line of work and business, different, but the end of the relationship resulted the same, in the same type of pain, in the same type of trauma, in the same type of me needing to be healed.
Right.
So what was it about me that decided to entertain these men that keep coming to kill, steal, destroy, eat the fruit, not water the soil?
Come on.
And then now I'm empty. I'm only a shell of myself when we're done. My self-esteem is low. I'm a victim instead of a survivor.
Right.
Like, I had to get out of that.
Right, that victim mode, because that'll keep you in that cycle. But now you're asking the right questions. Because I asked myself the same questions. I was like, okay, when I look back at my patterns, the same notes that I had on everybody else, I had to look at me. Wait a minute, I'm dating the same person. I'm dealing with the same person, just different variations. Also very different backgrounds, all kind of things. But at the core of it, it's me too.
Right.
So what does that say about me if I'm dating also somebody who is narcissistic and somebody who is unhealed? And then that's when the journey really begins to your healing.
And I feel like too, when you become enmeshed in a narcissistic relationship, not only are they dealing with a spiritual warfare, but now you're in a spiritual warfare because now you're delusional as hell.
Right, because now you're fighting.
Because you fell in love with the illusion of what you thought they were.
Right.
And now you're trying to, you literally have to mourn the illusion.
Yes.
But people don't talk about that. Like, some people, and I've been in a position where I mourn the delusion while still in the relationship.
Yeah, because that's what you have to do
and
with
it changes the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah, because it's all a lie. It's built on a lie.
Yeah.
And so you have to keep telling yourself that to stay in the lie.
It comes down like a house of cards.
Yeah.
You don't trust them the same. You don't look at them the same. The sex is no longer the same, because people think that the sex is all about size, positions. No, it's about connection,
especially
and
with a
intimacy.
Woman. Absolutely.
Like with a woman that really loves herself, it's an intimate act. It means that I'm sharing a vulnerability with you. And then to find out that you don't value that, that you would literally cheat on me, you would literally lie on me, you would literally go out here and smear my name, because when a person triangulates you, they have to smear your name to do it.
On you.
You know what I'm saying? So essentially, you're the op.
Yes, and that's so true.
And I've been laying up with the op.
Yeah,
I've been
sleeping with your
enemy.
Sleeping with your own enemy. And didn't know it.
And it's your own demise. And then the minute you get your autonomy and decide to step away from it, they paint you as a villain.
Right.
Because they've been a communal narcissist. Everybody know them as the good guy or the good girl.
And then we built them up.
We built them up too, because we wanted to convince everybody to like them as much as we like them.
Yeah.
And it's hard to try to go back and clean that up.
Right.
Now, you didn't want to everybody bragging about how this man is Superman, how he do everything. He do everything right on time. And then now he done played in your face.
Right.
You don't want to go back and clear that up.
Right.
Especially if you decide to stay. And that's another thing. Some women stay because they can't leave. You know, at the time, when I was 19, I had 2 kids, and I called myself creating the plan to get away. And I flew my sister down to San Diego, California, bought her ticket, put both my kids in my little Ford Escort, and drove back to Houston. And my apartment was supposed to be ready, and it wasn't ready. And I was trying to stay with my mom, and you know, she was married, and they didn't really want me to stay there. So her and her husband drove me back in my car to California, back to this man that had just whooped my ass that I was running away from. I love you, mama, but it's my truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I literally had to convince him that the only reason why I came back was because all the hooping, hollering, and crying and begging he was doing.
Wow.
When essentially the only reason why I went back is because I had nowhere else to go.
Right. And see, it goes back. And see, when people don't know what a narcissist is, they'll tell you to go stay and pray because they think it's just 2 people having relationship issues. It's so much sinister than that, you know. So that stay and pray goes back into that.
This man literally told someone, you know, he was telling one of his homeboys, because one of his homeboys was telling him, you shouldn't do her like that, you know, you got a good girl. And he's like, well, she ain't going nowhere.
And that was
he
it.
was so so sure of himself, and that's the gag. Anybody I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna love you to the point where you really feel like I will never leave you. But let me tell you, I will leave your ass. I will leave you where I found you.
Right.
Because what you not finna do is play on my top.
Right.
And if you do, it's gonna come at a high price.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna play on each other's top this season. You know what I'm saying? And really, I'm not even entertaining that demon because the space that I have is so sacred and it's so valuable that I only want people in my life that's gonna value what I'm giving.
Yes.
And I want people that I can be in a safe place to love and be vulnerable with. Whether it's my girlfriends, whether it's the people I work with, because I done got to the point where I don't even hire friends to work with me.
No, you probably shouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? Now, what ends up happening God saw fit to where the people that I hired to work for me became my friends.
That's it.
And I love that. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to someone coming in with a sense of entitlement, like, oh, she need me to run her little studio. Baby, ain't nothing little about this studio.
Nothing. That little. I just did a TikTok on the little, everything. Why does everything have to be little? Right. You don't do anything little, I can tell you that.
Yeah, so well, I let people, you know, deal with their own demons. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming to kill, steal, and destroy.
Absolutely.
I want to come and create and build and encourage and motivate and uplift and bring awareness and have tough conversations that a lot of women like ourselves, we successful Black women, we built names for ourselves. We have businesses and people that look up to us, but we still have human experiences.
We are human. We're not perfect. We have not made it. We have not arrived. I'm still healing. I'm still every day.
And I tell people that all the time. I'm still on my journey. I am not where I was, but I'm not where I'm going to be yet.
Not yet.
So I'm still transitioning. I'm still reinventing myself. And that's another thing that I did. I kept reinventing myself. And, you know, that might be a positive trait, but I think that also it was a trauma response.
Why you say that?
Because I was running away from the things that I wasn't healing from.
Gotcha.
So I went from being a poet to an author to putting an album out to being an actress to being a director to being a painter to being a producer to doing a podcast to owning a studio to doing all these different things and getting all these great acclimates, but I was still empty inside.
Yeah.
I didn't feel fulfilled because I didn't love me. And then I was looking for love, the love that I should have for myself and other people.
Yeah.
And they would show up as the version of that I wanted them to show up as. But then once they get me and the mask was slipped and I see their true colors, now I'm devastated. And that went for girlfriends too, you know what I'm saying? Because we have these girlfriends, you know, the cool girls that you feel like you can share everything with and do everything with, but then it becomes a competition, and before you know it, you're part of a smear campaign you didn't sign up for, and now you in a mean girl clique. You know, like I don't do none of that.
Right,
you know
absolutely not. That's not even your personality.
That's not who I am. Like I'm a lover of people, and being a lover of people, you can't even be tied to narcissistic individuals.
No, because they'll drain you.
They will try to control who you know. Speaking of that, I wanted to talk about how they will, your support system, how they isolate you from the people that support you the most.
Yes,
so,
I've had that happen.
You know, they'll either triangulate you with your friends or try to make you think one of your friends trying to talk to them, or they'll be like, why you hang out with her? And they'll start judging your friends and telling you that, oh, she's a whore. They don't even know your friends, but they're making you feel some type of way about hanging out with them. So gradually over time, you slowly start pulling back because you want to maintain the peace, so you want to go along to get along. So if you know that you going out with your friends is going to trigger that person, then you don't do it as much.
And now you isolated. Now all you have is them. Especially if you're in California and your support system is there. That's the perfect storm. That's the perfect conditions, because now you don't physically you don't have anybody, and then emotionally they'll alienate you from your whole circle. And then even if you hang around your circle, sometimes they'll get in your circle, and they're able to determine the weak link, because sometimes they can recognize a narcissist in your circle too. So
then they'll gang up.
And they'll gang up to try to take you out. They sure will.
Because they got to keep in mind it's a demonic spirit.
Right.
And so demons recognize demons, and they'll get together and gang bang on you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They'll be working in cahoots before you know it, and then
you don't even know it.
You be done fell out with your friend and wondering why your ex is still cool with your friend.
Right. And then sometimes they'll link up in more ways than one. I've seen people go through that. Yes.
They deserve each other.
Right.
Right. Good luck with that.
Right. Let's see how that works out
for you. Some people actually get married and stay together.
Right.
Shout out Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats.
Right.
Yeah, but
hilarious.
Hey.
Right.
If it works for you, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't out here trying to get nobody. I don't want somebody else or somebody. Because I ain't sharing. I know they say sharing is caring, but when it comes to certain things, I'm not sharing.
No.
You can call me Lenora, but you can't call me Sharon, okay?
That's hilarious.
Now, we talked about the crying on cue, the narc apologizing and all that stuff. So I don't want to. I know it's old news, but for those that have been through abuse, it'll forever be a trigger. Yeah. And the Cassie and the P. Diddy situation, and Cassie trying to tell her side of the story. People were blaming her for being money hungry and all that.
You saw the comments before the video came out, how some people thought that she was doing it for money, for a payout.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They were really, and for a victim.
Oh, that hit.
That is so painful.
It did.
It makes you want to hide yourself. And he deliberately put out all this press about how he wasn't this and he wasn't that, only for the video to drop. And did you see the video where he was apologizing?
Yes.
It was so inauthentic.
It was.
He didn't apologize to her. He didn't apologize to his daughters.
Right.
He didn't apologize to his fans. His body language, you know how when you're talking and you're saying no, but you're using yes commands,
right?
But your body is really speaking for you.
Yes.
So a lot of things that he was saying yes about, he was shaking his head no the whole time.
Because he didn't believe it.
He didn't believe it himself.
No, and then you can see in his eyes. If you dealt with somebody like that,
you
can
he had
see
a blank.
eyes.
Yeah, they have a dead look about themselves.
It is.
Yeah.
So it was emotionless. It was inauthentic, and then it was no accountability.
I was gonna say it lacked accountability, and then he tried to be like, "Oh, I've been in rehab, and I've been
part right there."
And so, were you in rehab before Cassie? When you was whooping on Kim Porter,
right?
Or after she died?
Because you was just on there lying, saying that she didn't do. You were gonna, stand on your name. You're gonna defend your name.
Yeah,
that was a couple of months ago.
So were you in therapy before that or after that?
Right.
You were in a dark place in your life, but this ain't the first time you didn't slap box with some women, or men.
And that's the thing, men like that, they hate women.
I don't even think P. Diddy want a woman.
No, that's...
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Shout out to P. Diddy. I'm not... And it's okay. Stand in your truth, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You bisexual, do that.
Right. At least be who you...
But just be who you are.
Yeah.
But a lot of men... That's another thing, the questionable sexuality of some of these narcissistic men.
Absolutely. I dealt with that. I was
I would be like,
no.
Do you, and they get so mad if you ask them about their sexuality.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, sir, ma'am, you're acting kind of feminine, and it's just throwing up a red flag to me that you might be in competition with me for my ex.
Right. I thought it was because being raised around women, but it went deeper than that. It was gossiping worse than a woman. It was just all the demeanor, even though he was built and a bodybuilder and all these things, but very feminine in the inside behind closed doors. And it just made me question then the conversation that he would have with men that I end up seeing. I was like, no, you live in a total double life.
Yeah. It's scary.
It is, because it's only by the grace of God, because I end up getting HIV tests for months afterwards, because I didn't know what I had been dealing with, and he was a somatic narcissist, and so they use their bodies was in a bodybuilding, so they use their bodies, that, you know, everything is about image and how they look. So I didn't know what I was dealing with, so I made sure.
Yeah, that's a trigger for me. Like somebody that has like body dysmorphia, where they're constantly critical about how they look. Like, do you have anything else going on for you other than what you look like?
No, they'll work on everything externally. But nothing internally.
No accountability, no growth, no emotional intelligence. Just I like the way I look.
Right. And of course, we like to look nice. There's nothing wrong with looking nice. And that's why people think narcissism is about looking.
Get whatever I'm serving this summer, okay? Listen.
Right. So it goes well beyond that, because it goes into who they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that double life and that that duality of their personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This show is almost too spicy. Too spicy. So for those... We were talking about, I want to go back to returning to the narc, because I don't know, have you been there? Have you returned to a narcissist before?
Let me see.
Once you left or threatened to leave?
Right. With the narcissist, I did not return because I had a restraining order. Like, it was like physically violent to where I could not go back. But I did end up talking to him, and he was trying to convince me to go back and to come back and all of that. The Hoover. And I didn't know what it was at the time, but what kept me away was my children. Yeah. That's what really kept me away. And that's what got me away, and that's what kept me away. And I knew, like, something in me, and I had put a gun on him. And so I knew it was going to be him or me. Because I was doing things that were outside of my character with that reactive abuse. And so, and I, dealt with the guilt of that and all that. But I knew if I went back, God showed me if I went back, I wasn't going. I was going to be in jail or dead.
Do you know there is so much power in responding and not reacting?
Yes.
Because I would react because I'm hurt, I'm emotional. But when you're emotional, that's your worst thinking.
It is, because that's how they feed off of that. They want you to stay in that flesh realm, in that soul realm, where they can manipulate your emotions. So when you learn to gray rock them, and I was doing that and I didn't even know it at the end.
Oh, well, I learned how to gray rock because I got tired of being drained.
Right.
And I got tired of constantly having to validate and reassure and the temperature checking and to be a cheerleader. Oh, you look great. Oh, you look great. Oh, you got the best thing right. Dude, be safe in your own skin, because I'm good over here. Like, you look good, I love you and all, but I'm not finna, I'm not your fan.
Right, and that's what they want. They want worship.
And I'm not finna worship you, you know what I'm saying? And if I have to choose out of me or you right now, I'm finna choose me.
Right.
Because I want you to choose you. And I want you to choose you so much and love you so much that you have no choice but to show up as the best version of yourself for me. Because the love that you have for yourself is going to project over to me, because you're going to have certain moral values when you love yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I wasn't in a relationship, I'm still not going to carry myself like a hoe.
No, that's
I'm still not finna be, I date, but I collect data. That's what dating is. It doesn't mean I'm sleeping with everybody. Doesn't mean they need to know where I live. I'm going to meet you there. Tell me what time we're going to meet. You can walk me to my car like a gentleman and peace out. I done collected data, and based on the conversation, I never want to see with you again, because all you talked about was how much money you made and how popular you was in high school, and we in our 40s. I don't want to hear about who you used to be. Tell me, who are you now? Right. But they can't never tell you who they are now. And if they tell you their goals, they're usually made up. And they probably regurgitated from something they heard from somebody else, because they a lot of times they're chameleons. And so if they get around someone that they're impressed by, and that person that they're impressed by tells a story.
Oh, they feed off of that.
They're going to take that story and they're going to come back and they're going to retell that story as if it's their story.
And that's so crazy. It is.
They'll forget that you was in the room when somebody else told it to
They will do that. Yeah, they do.
You'd be like, why are you repeating something that you heard from somebody else like you know? Like, you don't even know that for fact. And you repeat. Don't do that no more. Yes. And if you call them out on it, oh, baby, it's like, why are you judging me? No. I'm just telling you that that's not authentic.
And they've done their homework on you.
Oh, yeah.
Well before, listen. They know things about you. Of course,
baby, they will study your social media from 4 or 5 years ago and read every post. I used to write this postcard to my future MCM or to my future husband, and I would write out like
Oh
all
my
the
goodness,
attributes that I want in a husband, and I want him to be creative, and I want him to do this, and I want him to do that. All that did was give him a playbook how to play in my face.
Yes. So
because
they
he
just writing
showed
that
up
down.
as the version that I told the world I wanted.
Yeah, I see women do that all the time. I'm like, shut your mouth. Like they like, I want this kind, and I know because listen, you've been there, done that. But when you get wiser, stop telling your business on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tricky because we live in a world
where everything is social.
Where everything is. But when you come down to your requirements, like keep that.
Yeah,
keep
and
that.
I've learned too that when you're in a relationship and it's new and you're building a foundation, your relationship is not supposed to be for entertainment purposes.
Keep it private.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm in a relationship, it's not a secret that I'm in a relationship with you.
Right.
But the details of my relationship is not for entertainment purposes.
That's right.
So know that I'm with someone, respect the fact that I'm with someone, but what happens in the transaction of our relationship is none of your business.
That's right. And it's not to be shared with anybody else.
And if I decide to share a few pictures here and there, be grateful, because that's about all you're going to get.
Right.
If you don't see them with me no more, then you didn't put them together.
Right. We're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. She deleted all those pictures.
Right. And then people go investigate, wait, what happened?
Yeah, that happened to me. I disappeared off of social media for over a year because I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed because I was married and, we had relationship goals and everybody wanted to, repost our, because I just was I think that while I thought I was convincing everybody else, I was really trying to convince myself that I was in a healthy relationship when I knew better.
Yeah.
And I think by me posting that was like telling the other women like he's mine or I'm the better pick.
Yeah.
When really I was just setting myself up to be the clown in the circus.
Right.
Because they were laughing at me.
Absolutely.
Because they're like, girl.
Yes.
Do you know he just left him over here?
Right. And that's probably what old girl was saying about me. I'm sitting here posting all this and acting like
we taking vacations and passport stamps and the whole time. He fresh off the plane over there.
Listen. Listen, playing everybody like a fiddle.
Yeah. So, it happens. Take it.
Yeah.
Learn from it. That's the best thing. Now, if you don't learn from it and you suppress that trauma and try to pretend it didn't exist, you will indeed relive it through your next relationship.
Absolutely.
Because you've already kind of like told yourself that this is normal. You made it normal for yourself.
Right.
So a lot of times in those situations, we don't even leave. They leave us when they find an upgraded supply.
Isn't that crazy?
Because that's what happened to my ex. I mean, he moved on to the highest bidder.
Right.
And that was because he literally ran my credit and
so he got everything that he could extract from you.
I was empty.
And that's why I tell people, if you hit rock bottom with them, you're really at a dangerous place, especially if they're physically abusive. You're at a dangerous place.
He went to and my last wasn't physical abusive at all.
So psychological.
It was just psychological. And when he was away from me, he would always want to FaceTime. And messenger call, but whenever I was trying to FaceTime him, either he wouldn't answer or he would be in the car. You know what I'm saying? I was gullible. I didn't know. I just wanted it to be perfect. But what he was doing was monitoring me to make sure that I wasn't doing what he was doing.
Right.
And then when I would feel off in my spirit and bring it to his attention that the math wasn't mathing, then he would kind of like, you must be cheating on me. You must be seeing somebody else. And so instead of me focusing on what he did that was...
Now you're defending yourself.
Now I'm defending myself. Yeah. And I never got the answers that I was looking for because now I'm too worked up. And so once I worked up and I'm reactive, then it's like, see, this is why I don't tell you nothing.
Right.
This is why I don't like to talk to you about it because look at how you acted.
Right.
And just gaslighted me into a corner.
Right.
And... so now I learned how to gray rock.
Right, absolutely.
Respond, don't react. Almost treat it like a job interview. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the question. If they're offensive with their, whatever their projection say, I understand your point of view. However, I'm going to agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? I respect how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know
and
what
that
I'm
keeps
saying?
you in control.
Yeah,
of
I
the,
respect how you
yeah.
feel. Those are not my views, and I care not to adopt those views. However, I respect you having a difference in point. They don't like that. But it keeps your autonomy. It calls your power back to you.
Right.
It regulates yourself to where you're not dysregulated by their emotional outbursts. So all of those things are called to power to bring your power back to you.
Yes.
And also having a good support system. If you don't have good friends, find your way to a good counselor.
Yeah.
Find your way to an unbiased opinion,
Yes.
not somebody that just want to gossip and go run a mill and tell your business. I would suggest going to BetterHelp. You can go to Shannon Savoy. You know what I'm saying? To Narc Free Living. If you have been in a toxic, abusive cycle with a narcissist, or you keep finding yourself in narcissistic relationships, and you need better understanding on the Jezebel spirit, the Leviathan spirit, the monitoring spirits, and all those things that you can be attacked by, from how it attacks your health, your wealth, your goals, your dreams. Shannon Savoy with Narc Free Living has created a basic template for you to go by and get those boxes checked off of where areas where you need healing, and it'll bring it to fruition and help you know that you're not the only one going through it. She has a whole community out there that are helping women today. So you actually have an Instagram page that people can go follow, and on that Instagram you also have a link to your link tree, to the website, the merch and everything. So those that are looking to find you, we can find you on your Instagram page. Your Instagram is what?
At Narc Free Living LLC.
So you guys make sure you go find her page, click that follow button, listen to some of her content. You can also find her on YouTube under Narc Free Living. So be sure to go over there and check out and see what are some of the episodes. Some of them are like hours long, but I'm telling you, it's so informative that you really can't stop. Okay?
Right.
Listen, we've been over an hour because the show has been just that good.
Yes.
And so I also want to remind you guys that we are on multiple platforms. So you can find us everywhere. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Third Coast TV, YouTube. I mean, we are everywhere. But if you really like what you hear and you want to be able to join the show, comment to the show, watch the show, come on over to our YouTube page, Oustide the Box with Onney. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, click that bell notification so you can be notified when a new segment is dropped. This is a limited series, so make sure you stay plugged in, tuned in, tapped in, so you can get all the gems that these queens are dropping. And if you two want to be on the couch with me, I'll be doing a whole new series next season. So be sure you submit your EPK and your bio to otb.liveshow@gmail.com, and one of our casting directors will reach out to you to find out how you could be a perfect fit for the couch with me. And also, if you like the content, you like the quality, the professionalism, and you too want to become a podcast content creator, come on over to www.onneystudios.com. We're right here in the heart of Houston, a very central location. You can bring your vision to fruition today by becoming a podcast content creator at Onney Studios. Come on over. Let's make your dreams a reality. I want to thank you, Shannon, for just sharing the dialogue. Like, the dialogue was so good. It was juicy.
Hello.
And I got y'all all in my business.
Right, it's like you said, it's like therapy, because we can let it out in a safe space. This is what this is all about. People need safe spaces.
Because
We
so
do too.
often, you know, I have, people don't know my business. They don't know what I've been through. I rarely even talk about all of the different businesses I have or the acclimates that I have. And I think that is also is a trauma response from having to shrink myself. So when I walk into rooms where people see me larger than life, I don't even know how to adapt or adjust to that or even receive it. And so just by nature, I'd be like, oh, wow.
No, receive it, Onney. You got to shine.
Yeah,
you are meant to shine.
I'm learning that. But it took me because it's been so ingrained in me to shrink myself to fit in other people's boxes. But I'm outside the box now, baby.
Yes.
What you see is what you get, okay? What you
love
see
it.
is what you get. Because one thing about it is I love me.
Yes.
But it took me a very long time to get here. So if it's taking you a little longer than you would expect, do not punish yourself for it. Just take that first step, whether it be go to the spa and treat yourself to a makeover or whatever that can help you feel better. Take that walk. I started walking and it changed a lot for me. Like the clarity that came with me just walking a couple miles.
Like physically walking?
Physically
yes,
walking.
That's beautiful.
Out in nature, getting the breath air, fresh breath,
Yeah.
being alone with my own thoughts. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times, you know, although we need to have a supportive friend group, we can't vent to all our friends.
No.
We can't tell them what's going on in our household. Sometimes we need to have those conversations with just you and God.
You and God, that's it.
And that's why I say don't vent to your friends. It's good to have support, for them to remind you how special you are, how loved you are, how powerful you may be. But the details, the good, bad, and ugly, get you a therapist. They're non-biased. Plus, they're not going to run tell your business because it's a confidentiality agreement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, even though you have that friend group, that support group, you need to be able to differentiate their voice from God's voice.
That's right.
You know, and a lot of my bad decisions came from not being able to discern whose voice I was hearing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because people will project their views. Like, you know, I have people ask me now, well, when you get married? Hold up, screw. Hold up.
Right.
Don't put no time frame on how fast I need to say I do. Because I'm still collecting data.
Right.
And he is too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so we have to stop getting out of this, oh, well, you're supposed to date a year, date 2 years. Sometimes it takes 2 years before the mask fall off. You know what I'm saying? But people that fall in love quick and they have these microwave relationships, narcissists will fast forward the relationship.
Man.
They will move in with you so fast.
Yes.
Let me tell you, they will come and spend the night, and before you know this, a week then went by. And now you got to ask them to go home, and it feel like you putting somebody out that you never asked to move in. Let me tell you, they will fast forward the hell out of a relationship because they are the biggest homosexuals I have ever seen. And so they will attach themselves to you and become entitled to everything you have on and working for.
And they know how to do that. Where you getting mail and all of a sudden, listen, now you can't even kick them out, right?
Oh,
listen. They're smart.
That's a gem. So I rebuke any narcissist that's watching me right now.
In the name of Jesus.
That part. Because one thing you not finna do is get some mail at my house. Because literally once they get mail at your address, you cannot put them out.
Right.
You can call the police all day, but all they're going to tell you is, well, they get mail here and you got to formally evict them.
Right. From your house.
From your house. So watch that. You want to be so in love. You want to prove that he be posted up in the cut by letting him get mail there. Well, when his baby mama decides she tired of putting up with you and putting up with him, he gonna be right over there talking about put me out.
Right.
Call the police.
And they'll do just that. I've seen it too many times.
And they will stay.
They will. Yeah.
So don't get yourself trapped. Make sure you stay equipped. Make sure you stay prayed up.
Yes.
Find you a good peer group. Get you a good therapist. Take you some time to do some self-love efforts. Have conversations with people that are well-versed, that want good for you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That want to bring out the best in you. Those are those safe spaces. And a lot of us don't have those safe spaces. So if you need one, go to Narc Free Living.
That's right. Come on over.
You know what I'm saying? Come on over to a safe space.
Yes.
Because she has definitely been a safe space for me. And sometimes she don't even know she been a safe space. I just go to YouTube and go to one of her videos and she be right on point. I be like, girl, you better.
That's how we do. That's how we do.
You know, I love you in private. I love you in public.
Same.
Thank you for being who
Thank
you
you.
are. Thank
girl.
you for letting the Lord use you. You know what I'm saying? Because that shame that you had, he turned that into something else. He turned that shame into shine.
And on that note.
There you go. Right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end the show for the evening. I had an awesome, good time. We got more gems coming next week with another fire guest. So make sure you set your clocks, you set your timers, you stay plugged in, tuned in, and tapped in outside the box. Is there a word you want to leave with the people for anybody that might be going through a season of self-doubt before we leave?
Oh, my goodness. Just learn to love you. like Onney said, find you your A team. Your A team consists of maybe your therapist, you know, your wise counselor, your friend circle, but you need a community. I heard somebody say we heal in community. So you'll get to learn that other people have gone through the same things that you have gone through. The shame of narcissist abuse is not yours to bear. Let's continue to break those chains.
And there you have it. I'm your girl, Onney the CEO. You're now plugged in, tuned in, and tapped in to Outside the Box.